here on Monday, March 22nd at approximately 4:04 p.m. Thank you everyone for joining us here. I guess we can move to item number 1 on our agenda, which will be financial updates. Director Fergulo, if you don't mind.
Great. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman and members of the committee. Thank you for joining us today. And I hope everyone's doing well. I'll share my deck with you. I hope. There we go. Great. Can everyone see that okay? Can everyone see that okay?
Yes.
Yes.
To me.
Great. Okay. Very good. So this is the one new slide for the presentation today. The rest of the presentation will be the same. But when we're comparing the prior year to the current year, keep in mind that last year at this time things were humming along, and COVID was just something that had started to affect us. And so, the casinos hadn't really been affected for the time period that we're talking about here in this slide. So if you look at the blue bar on that graph, that's last year's general fund transfer, and that was totaling $216.5 million at this point last year. The red bar is what's going on this year through February, and that's $145,477,000. And then the green bar is what the rec from November estimated, and that's $142,551,000. So the year over year, when you compare the blue to the red, we're 32.8% down year over year, these two bars. And so, obviously we're going to make up ground now, because as we go into it, the casinos were closed for the next 12 weeks last year, from March 14th through June 8th, I believe it was. So as of February 28th down here, as of February 28th, 2021, the transfer was $2.925 million ahead of the rec. And that's based on an estimated total revenue transfer for the lottery of $254,500,000. So at the end of the year, the goal is to get to $254,500,000. And so that's what this estimate right here compares it to on a prorated basis. So this is good news. Last year, instead of being $202.9 million ahead, we were $1.4 million behind. So we've made up a lot of ground in the last month. As far as lottery revenue components go, instant sales year to date are $85,981,000, which is an increase of 20.5% compared to last year. Mega Millions sales year to date are $11,044,000, which is an increase of 44.88% compared to last year. This is really due to the big jackpot that we had a few months ago. The jackpot for March 23rd is $122 million. The other national game, Powerball, year-to-date Powerball sales are $14,957,000, which is an increase of 14.63% compared to last year. And the jackpot for March 24th is $220 million. And again, Powerball had a big jackpot a few months ago. Lucky for Life sales. Sales year to date for Lucky for Life are of $3,124,660, reflect a decrease of 4.8% compared to the prior year. Keno sales of $48,571,000. They're behind 8.38% to last year, but they are starting to uptick as the economy continues to open and social clubs begin to open and things like that. So this is coming back now. Wild money sales year to date are $5.3 million ahead, which is an increase of 115% compared to last year. And this is really due to, on July 12th, this game was changed to a daily drawing. And daily number sales are up 6.17% year to date, with sales of $14,026,000. Video lottery, VLTs at the casino and table games through February 28th. Net terminal income at Twin River was 43.59% behind last year. And NTI for Tiverton is 33.02% behind last year. When you combine those two numbers, we're 41.3% behind last year. And table games at Twin River combined with Tiverton are 44.87% behind last year. Are there any questions on the financial update?
No.
Hearing none, we'll go to item number 2, sports betting.
Great, thank you. So lots of information here. So through the 8 months of the fiscal year, the accrual rate, or the amount wagered, same thing, is approximately 22% higher than the first 8 months of fiscal year 2020. So 227 million in fiscal year 2021, and 187 million in fiscal year 20 are the two values. Book revenue, or hold as you'll sometime hear it referred to, for the current fiscal year is $22.6 million. And hold is basically the amount of the bet less the amount of the prizes. And this represents about 28% of the increase over last year. So 17.6 million through the end of February last year versus 22.6 this year. And the hold as a percentage of the amount wagered for the first 8 months of the fiscal year is 9.94% compared to 9.43% for fiscal year last year. So we're doing, again, very, very well from a hold percentage as a percent of the amount wagered. Industry would be, around 6% over time. Now, this is going to fluctuate over time. It's going to fluctuate month to month, and it's going to fluctuate year to year. For February, the February 2021 accrual rate of 34.1 million represents a 21% increase over the 29 days of wagering that occurred in February 2020. February 2021 book revenue of 1.5 million is down 35% from February 2020. So the reduction in book revenue is primarily due to the losses on the Super Bowl. So we lost $1,126,000 on the Super Bowl. So this is, again, a normal occurrence in sports betting. You will have games that you win on, and you'll have games that you'll lose on as a sports book. Over the course of the month, wagering transitioned from football to basketball, and 55% of the bets placed during the month were on basketball. College was 31% of that, and pro was 24% of that. As far as mobile wagering goes, we're continuing to see an increase in the amount of people utilizing the mobile app. In February 2020, we were getting about 32% of our sales through the mobile app. In February 2021, our actual mobile sales more than doubled. So from a dollar perspective, the amount going through the app more than doubled. And it was 53% of our overall sales are coming in through the mobile app. There's been a 74% increase in the mobile account registrations since the beginning of the fiscal year. So currently 42,325 versus 24,298 in July of 2020. Are there any questions on the sports book?
Madam Chair, two quick questions.
Sir. Yes, go ahead, sir.
Thank you. That's great news. I think when we changed the law and we allowed more people to register online versus having to go into the facility, that's probably facilitated a lot of those new accounts. So that's good. I'm wondering if you're able to provide with the number of registered users and the number of active users, depending on how you label an active user.
We certainly do. Let me just see. Mike, are you on the line? Do you know that number off the top of your head, or we can get that to Senator Paolino?
I don't have the exact number, Mark, but the funded accounts is approximately 19,000. So those I would consider active accounts, those who are funded.
Fantastic. And my second question is, whenever stimulus checks have been released, have you noticed an increase of either money wagered or the number of users coming in and wagering money?
Yes.
Is that you anticipate? And so that's something you anticipate to continue and should help our revenue going forward.
Yes.
With this next good news.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
We see that in instant sales too, and the lottery sales, in addition to the casino component.
I figured that. Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Certainly.
Madam Chair, I also have a question, Rep. Kennedy.
Yes, sir.
Are we seeing any uptick now that we're into the NCAA tournament, or do we expect that we might see some sports betting coming in on these college basketball games?
Yeah, so, we get a lot, we certainly see an uptick for the NCAA tournaments, certainly.
Okay.
Does it compare to the Super Bowl? I think I'm not quite sure of the answer of that, but if you want the answer to that, I can certainly send that to you sometime tomorrow.
Well,
compare those numbers.
Since we seem to not do very well when the Super Bowl comes around, it seems like it becomes a net loss for the lottery. Perhaps having the college basketball games is probably a good thing. The other question deals with Connecticut. They just signed a deal, I believe it was with Mohegan Sun. Do we expect to see any impact on our sports betting based on the fact that Connecticut has just signed that new deal?
Yes. So, I think as Connecticut comes online with sports betting, we will have more competition, certainly. And, same thing for Massachusetts. So there's people who are coming over the line in Connecticut to place bets through the mobile app that we will have to, compete with to keep as customers.
Okay. Thank you.
Certainly.
Any other questions of the director? Hearing none, then we'll go to item number 3, the facilities update. Who wants to go first?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I have one question. It's about.
Sorry, Frank. Sorry, Senator.
It's okay. Director, we have $50,000 set aside for troubled gamblers. Is that correct?
I think it's more.
So the way our trouble gambling works is basically it's whatever we need for trouble gambling we get, and Twin River pays for it. So there's an unlimited amount of money for trouble gamblers. There is a bill pending that would put up to, there's a bill pending that would allow for people who have exempted themselves from gambling. If they do gamble and win, that money would then revert to, the way the bill's written, that money would revert to the Council on Trouble Gambling. The lottery has introduced language or recommended language to basically limit that to $50,000, and anything above $50,000 would go into the general fund. So, the issue is just if you had an exempt gambler win $1 million, the Council on Trouble Gambling doesn't need $1 million per year in a year. And so our thought was that we would, limit that to $50,000 for educational purposes. So I don't know if that's where the $50,000 reference is coming from, Senator Chacon.
Yes. Is there a way to increase it from 50 to 100,000? I mean, 50,000 isn't a lot of money. We're not looking for $1 million. I know they're not looking for $1 million, but 100,000 seems like it's more feasible.
Yeah. So that's we didn't introduce anything in our letter of concern. We just put in some recommended sub A language. So certainly
Okay.
the General Assembly can move that to $100,000. Well, we just felt it was important to have a limit.
Okay. Madam Chair,
Yes, Senator.
that's the bill that you used to put in that former Senator Fasone asked me to put in this year that we agreed on.
Yes, I knew he had something in mind with that. Yes, I do.
Okay. All right, we can discuss it maybe tomorrow.
That'd be great. We'll discuss it in person, Frank. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Hearing none, then we will move on now to item number 3, facilities update. Who wants to go first? Tiverton, Joe? Craig, anybody?
I think the director has a presentation first.
So typically go through a couple slides here, Madam Chair.
Oh, okay. I thought they, okay, go ahead.
So here is a look at the total in for video by day in the last week, cash out, and the NTI, the net terminal income over here. So this is the win. This is the amount that we get, and then we split with our partners. So 16.4 million, call it, came in for the week. Just for a matter of reference, the same week during October of last year was 11.9 million. So you can see that things are certainly improving. And then over here, we brought in 2.2 million, and in October for a week we brought in 1.5 million. So we're doing pretty good. This isn't a mistake down here when we're comparing the NTI for the week, $2,236,000 for the past week this year, and it was zero last year at this time because the casino was closed. As far as capacity goes, this is VLT utilization, and sorry, it's a bit of an eye chart, certainly for me too. And you can see that we hit 94% was the maximum utilization of all the VLTs on the floor, and that occurred at 9 o'clock on Saturday night. Here is Twin River, same format, so $57.7 million were put into the slot machines. If you look at the same period back in October, for a week, it was 41.4 million. And the prize money that the money that we received was 7.1 million or $7.2 million. In October, that same number was $5 million. And as far as capacity on the slot machines go, so even though we only have 2,292 machines operating, we hit about 85% capacity on Saturday evening. Madam Chair, I turn it over to you to go to the facilities.
Any questions of the director on these numbers? Okay, then we'll hear from the facilities. Who wants to go first?
I'll go, Madam Chairperson.
Okay.
As far as Tiverton, I think optimism is kind of the word that we're seeing. As the director pointed out last week, we did 2.2 million, which was our best week since COVID started. And the week before, we had a cruise giveaway, and we gave out over 900 cruises, which were a couple hundred more than what we've done in the past. So I think between the vaccinations and people coming out, I think we're really optimistic. February had some weather-related issues, so March is starting out pretty good, and we think we're going to have hopefully a really decent March. March Madness had a lot of people coming through the doors too to bet on the games, and we had some good upsets, so I think you're going to see hopefully some good revenue coming through there. And somebody mentioned the stimulus checks. I think that definitely was one of the reasons that we did pretty well. So again, we're looking forward. March is coming out pretty good, so we're looking forward to hoping the numbers will keep getting stronger. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Are there any questions of Joe about the Tiverton facility? Okay. I don't hear any. Then we'll hear from Craig. Craig? No.
Craig, you're on mute.
Works better when you're not on mute. Although, quite frankly, I don't think I ever say anything that's worth listening to begin with, so nobody's lost but mine. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee, and everybody assembled on today's meeting. Similar sentiment, I believe, emanating from Lincoln, as Joe just described, in Tiverton. We are starting to see some momentum build, a lot of it associated with everything from the weather improving to vaccinations to even the state of Massachusetts announcing that they were going to start reducing some of the out-of-state travel restrictions, which certainly impacted visitation at our properties and will continue to impact as March goes along. And just as importantly, within the state of Rhode Island, as some of the COVID-19 regulations and restrictions are peeled back a little bit, it does allow folks to maybe experience the casino as it was intended. I should state that both properties continue to be inspected by various state regulators, and our COVID ordinances and protocols are all being met. So we're proud of the fact that we're keeping our staff and the general public safe. As Joe noted, we're seeing the improvement. As the director noted, we're seeing that rapid improvement in VLT, some of it driven now by promotions. The cruise giveaway was over 4,100 cruises were redeemed here on that Saturday in question, and that's, again, another good indication. March habitually is a strong month, providing the weather stays away. So this combination of tax refunds, the weather improving, and now with the stimulus checks beginning to circulate again, that kind of feeds into better revenue. So we're optimistic that maybe better days are ahead of us. We're seeing increase in our food and beverage operations, Longo's, Meatballs, and Martinis, restaurant in particular. We still have a number of amenities closed: valet parking, entertainment, the event center, and the hotel, as well as Fred and Steve's Steakhouse. So we're hoping as conditions improve, we can turn those amenities online. And as Joe noted, if you play brackets legally in the state of Rhode Island, if you're placing your wagers, it's been a tough go for the first 4 or 5 days of the NCAAs, and that typically is helpful to the bottom line. So it's been a lot of upsets to start. That translates into money coming in. But as the director noted, even when the state, the partners, ourselves lose that $1.1 million on the Super Bowl, that does put money back into the players' hands. And that's some of that money will find its way definitely back into the sports book, but also back into the economy. People will tend to spend that money a little bit. So we're thankful to the state, to Director Fergulo and his team for working with us. And as I said, I think we're entering March in a much better place. It was March 13th, Friday the 13th, a year ago, that we were summoned to the State House and asked to begin the process of closing the facilities, and we did that on March 14th. So we're making progress. We're optimistic, but we're guarded.
Thank you, Craig. I have one quick question. Craig, what's the rationale, other than the COVID, I'm sure that's the reason, for not bringing back the valet? I feel that like older people will not go because it's too far to walk those parking lots. When can you bring that back?
Senator, you're exactly hitting it on the head. It's really just a question of, can we do valet safely, not only for the guest arriving, but also for our staff, because just by the essence of valet, you're actually arriving at the property and handing over your keys even before we've had a chance to screen you for the temporal thermometers to see what your body temperature is. So, we're hoping as the vaccination rolls out a little bit more, we'll be able to reintroduce valet.
Okay, the sooner the better.
Thank you.
Any other questions of Craig? Hearing none? If I don't hear any, then we'll go over to item number 4, marketing and promotion. Mr. Director.
Great, thank you very much. So the instant ticket development team and the marketing teams have been busy. We introduced 3 new games since we last met, and it's a family of games. So, this is exciting because you get some synergy on your advertising when you do a family of games. So we have Powerball 2X, which is a $2 ticket. That went on sale at the end of February. Powerball 5X, which is a $5 ticket. And Powerball 10X, which is a $10 ticket. And so we expect, we're excited about those, and we did a commercial for those too. So I don't know if anyone's seen that. We also have, here it is live. It's big. Our big super money ticket coming out. This is the size of a sheet of paper, effectively. There's 53 chances to win. There's various games on it. And this is going on sale in April. And this is another one that has done very well in other states. So we think that it'll do very well here also. And so I'd like to just thank the team who worked on getting this ready and getting it out. And I know the sales team's been working because he needs to change the dispensers around at the retailers and things like that. So the team's been doing a great job, and we look forward to the results of this game. As far as iLottery goes, we introduced Celtic Clouds. We did introduce it on March 4th. And then we had an iLottery promotion for St. Patrick's Day. Anyone who played Keno or did an instant ticket purchase between March 15th and March 21st was entered to win $100 in the iLottery bonus round. And so 17 winners will be drawn this week on the 24th. And we also will have a second chance promotion on the big super money ticket to drive additional volume on that. That's all I have for marketing, Madam Chair.
Okay, great. Are there any questions on the marketing portion of the agenda? Okay, hearing none, then we'll go to other updates before adjournment.
So I do have sad news. So I want to recognize that Edgar Sarita was a lottery sales rep, passed away. So he passed 2 days after our last meeting of COVID. So he contracted COVID in early January, and he fought it for about a month and a week, and then his cert came on February 24th. So he served here for 18 and a half years.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to add my condolences to Edgar's family. I happen to have the good fortune to recommend Edgar to the position at the lottery, and I know the former director told me within the year that Edgar started, if he had 10 more Edgars working at that lottery, how easy his life would be. I mean, he was a dedicated, just a beautiful man. He spent his life in the Smith Hill community. His family was truly devastated. I spoke to them and was with them. And they were expecting him to make a full recovery. He was pretty much on the mend from the covert, and just something went wrong. I think he was going to retire. I think his son told me on March 1st, and how sad to spend your entire life working. He was a brilliant, brilliant man. He was in medical school over in Bolivia, and yeah, just a remarkable career. And certainly, I personally am going to miss him, and I know the lottery is as well. Thank you, Mr. Director. I see that your face is not on, so then we'll just move if there's no other further comments regarding Edgar.
So I'm jumping back in now. There we go. I don't know where I got cut off.
Okay, I thought you did it deliberately. You were just telling
No.
me.
I was having a hard time, but I didn't do it deliberately.
Okay, so I thought you did, so I just took over. I'm sorry. So
That's okay.
You said that he was an employee for 18 and a half years and
Yes.
the COVID. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So just a sad day, and just a reminder that, the disease is still out there. And, I do want to thank the sales team, and they've been there throughout this. And when we've called on them to go out, they've gone out. And even in, at the end of December, when things were bad, we needed them to go out, and they went out. So It's not without risk. We try and keep them safe.
For sure.
But Edgar will be missed, certainly, and he leaves behind a wife and a daughter and a son.
Well, I'd like to offer my condolences to Edgar's family and anybody on the call who was friendly with him. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to know him, but I can imagine after 8.5 years, you've had a pretty big impact on people's lives. So, thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Anything else? Hearing
Not
none,
for me.
then why don't we set our date for our next meeting? When will that be, Mr. Director? Sometime in April?
So April 26th, so I think there's a recess for school vacation the week before, so it's a little late in April, if that works for you and the committee.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay.
So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Representative Paolino, we move to adjourn.
Motion made and seconded.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, several seconds. The meeting of the Oversight Committee on State Lottery March meeting stands adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Stay
Thank
safe.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Director, for all your work. Thank you.
You're very welcome.